It comes as no surprise that more and more men who are a part of the passport gang are fleeing their first world womanism-infested countries to go abroad and search for love. I mean, can you blame these men when their own women loathe and despise them and constantly complain about how worthless these men are? These XX's narcissism, entitlement, high standards, and flat-out misandry towards men have driven a lot of men to want to date outside of their country or stop dating and go their own way. When you stop and take a look at what womanism has done, you have to ask if this is genuinely indoctrination or if this is what women have always wanted deep down but did not have the power to do by themselves over the previous centuries. Well, if you ask me, it is an element of both, but I lean more to the side of womanism is what women have always wanted. When you spend your whole existence being the inferior of the sexes, it is logical and natural to think that when the opportunity comes to gain your so-called freedom and independence and eventually have supremacy over the one superior being, then this is what they will naturally want to do since they have never tasted power before. And we see it today in their thirst for more power in the name of having equality and how they ultimately treat the men they perceive as beneath them. The brutal truth is that women treat the men they think they are better than as garbage and temporarily submit to the men they perceive as above them until, in their eyes, those men are equal to them. This, in my opinion, is the true nature of women, and everything we see in womanism today is what they've always wanted deep down. If you disagree with me, you would have to explain why in most countries where womanism creeps itself into society, most women follow that path and abandon traditionalism. In modern women's eyes, traditionalism, where the man leads and they follow, embracing their femininity, is a weakness and oppressive. But they overwhelmingly praise and cheer when women choose to be progressive, embrace their masculinity, dominance, and sexual liberation over men. So are they blindly following the programming of womanism, or is this what they've always wanted all along but never have the power to attain? I leave you to come up with your own reasoning behind this question, but based on what I've seen, womanism is what women wanted deep down. There is simply too much evidence that points in that direction from my perspective, and as such, I don't care if they don't get the life they envision blindly following womanism. Let them suffer the consequences of their actions, just like what men have to do in this world. The truth is this: womanism ideology works for women throughout their late teens to late 20s in terms of financial success if they are career-driven and have an insane work ethic, which most women don't. But they forget that their looks and body will start to decline while their attitudes remain stink. So ultimately, men won't want these XXs if they are contemplating marriage and having kids. If these women aren't planning to have kids or get married, then womanism is fantastic for them. They get to chase their careers, ride the CC freely, have their independence and money, and die alone at the end of their lives. But if they want a man and family, then the womanism ideology works against them, and this is why they are upset when they can't get everything they want. Because the men who these women want will not give them the missing piece of the equation for womanism to be a success for women that want a family. I think I broke it down simple enough for you guys to understand why womanism doesn't work for women. Because most women cannot see themselves living throughout their old age alone and vulnerable. That's why they try to get someone to be their retirement plan and possible companion, so they don't end up by themselves in a nursery home or worse, on the streets. And you know what is ironic? Most women who subscribe to womanism swear that they don't need a man, but they spend their entire lives depending on men to help them patch their way through life. These men are their fathers, temporary boyfriends, ex-husbands, sugar daddies, or the government. So even though they are supposed to be strong and independent and don't need a man, damn near all of them rely on a man to keep them afloat each and every month. That is the reality, gents, based on my observations of the modern woman subscribing to womanism. To bring this point back home to explain why men decide to go abroad and search for women, it's because men are sick and tired of the BS with modern women. Everything that women want revolving around womanism is not for the benefit of the man. And to make matters worse, the constant disrespect and high barrier to entry just to sit down and go on a date with one of these women due to their ridiculous standards are turning men away because they just can't live up to it. Then to put the cherry on top, if a man does get the woman and commit, he is most likely getting the bare minimum from her: a dead bedroom, nagging, complaining, disrespect, cucked, cheated on, and eventually a divorce. So a man has to go through BS just to get divorced great and has his own kids stripped away from him at the end of it as his reward. Isn't that a good deal? Who wouldn't line up to take that deal? This is why, even though I don't fully agree with men going abroad to find love, I understand why they would want to go that route. Just know that a lot of women see you guys as juicy targets, and they will use you just like the women you're running from. I know this because I have female family members who try to lock down and manipulate men to get their green cards or help to elevate their lifestyles, and many of these women had boyfriends who made them go out and have relationships and bedroom fun with men from first world countries and bring back the money to support their families. Gents, it's a cold world we live in, so I cringe when hope strategists that have never seen this side of women tell me in the comment section that I don't know what I'm talking about. No, you are the one that doesn't know what you're talking about because you don't live in a third world country, but I do. Let me put you guys on some game. I had a coworker I used to work with, and I always wondered where she got money to have taxis on the road and a bees farm business. So I had to ask because here I was struggling on my small salary to make ends meet while she could live off the passive income from her taxi business alone. So this is what she told me, and this will open some of you hope strategists' eyes. She told me that when she was in college, she and her friends used to con men to help pay for their tuition. Yes, you heard that right. She would con men with money living in America specifically and use the money to pay her tuition and set herself up. So the 2 taxis that she bought in cash were paid for by her sugar daddy. He also gave her money to maintain herself and travel to the States to work, and she said he only beat up that wet vice grip once. She probably got close to 15,000 United States dollars, and he just had bedroom fun with her once. And he wasn't the only man she was talking to, so just imagine how much money she got because of that plump wet vice grip. This is a true story because I know the girl, and she really did have those 2 businesses because I saw it with my own 2 eyes. At least she was smart to invest the money she got instead of doing what most women would do and squander the money buying useless-ish. So you guys who think that the women abroad will not manipulate and use you for your resources need a reality check. Most of them are just playing a role to keep you and the money coming in. That's a fat RP for you guys who think dating women abroad is better. It's not, trust me. I've seen countless men get used and even helped to build a woman's house. And guess what? Another man was living in it when that guy returned to his first world country. Smash the like button, guys. You're getting the real here that most YouTubers in this sphere never got to experience firsthand. I think it's time to hear why men decide it would be best to travel and date women abroad. I found a thread on Quora that asked why are some American men going to foreign countries to find a wife. Let's hear what some of the people had to say. I don't dare put my real name behind this, or I'll risk being attacked, ostracized, and shamed, and that's part of the problem. There are 2 issues that I think are causing this, one which is okay to talk about, the other which might bring scorn. In a nutshell, 50 years ago, gender roles were restrictive but also clear. I'm glad they've changed, but it has come with a cost. Today in America, gender roles are a source of confusion for many. Very few of us, male or female, have a clear understanding of what role our gender is supposed to play, or even if our role should be dictated by gender at all. The part that's okay to talk about is this. Men have been taught how to court women using an outdated set of rules. My parents taught me to be chivalrous towards women, showing kindness and courtesy. In a world where men have all the power and wealth, and where women's only real role is to find a man with power and wealth, chivalry makes a lot of sense. If the CEO of your company holds the door open for you, the gesture has much more meaning than if your coworker does the exact same thing. Men to women used to be like the CEO acting towards the average employee. You be kind, you be courteous, you act gracefully with your power. Now, men to women are more like coworker to coworker than CEO to employee. Paying for dinner no longer impresses her, yet she may still expect it. However, in many foreign countries, this men hold the power dynamic still exists and the old rules of chivalry work. So American men are taught to act towards women in a way that rarely works with American women, but often works with foreign women. Alright gents, I see what he's saying, and I agree to an extent. Let me tell you guys why dating in the old-fashioned sense is dead, so we are on the same page. Dating is linked to how people interact and the state of the economy. Now that more and more people are dating online and the economy is not good right now, women who control the dating marketplace are switching to a form of dating that ensures they can survive in this economy. That's why you see the rise of sugar daddy apps and spoil me culture because time is tough and they need a way to use dating to get them through the month. So dinner dates alone make no sense when these women want money. Remember, not a lot of men are committing or marrying these women anymore, so they have to resort to selling themselves or finessing men to survive. I know this response is for the dating landscape we are seeing now, but everybody knows how we used to date already, so I won't be repeating what happened when women gained independence and the economy was good. You guys have to be ahead of the times and realize dating that we knew is dead and is being replaced with transactional relationships right before your eyes. Let's continue. Second, and this is the one I'm afraid of stating, it's just my opinion that American women have a ridiculous sense of entitlement. When it comes to certain things, we're all equal, and how dare you treat us differently? Yet on other things, they want men to be men and women to be women. One moment it's I don't need your help just because you're a man and I'm a woman, and the next it's but you're the man and I'm the woman, so you're supposed to take care of me. The thing is, these things vary from woman to woman and situation to situation, so it's easy for us men to get it wrong. As other answers point out, we're supposed to be tall, handsome, funny, successful, ideally more successful than the woman that we're dating, even though apparently we're no better than her, and have just enough machismo, but not too much as to make us sexist. All of that just gets us a seat at the table. From there, one wrong statement or wrong interest, for example, "I'm not a dog person," can easily cost you your seat. I have known plenty of women that would rather hold out for what they want than to date one of the less than perfect men who are interested in them. To add complication, we're supposed to understand when no means yes or not yet, but also when it really means no. One false move one way, and we lose the woman we like for not being enough of a man. One false move the other way, and we're charged with sexual assault. Many American men navigate this minefield successfully, but many also give up and try something easier, which is dating foreign women. Gents again, I agree with what he's saying, and to add to that, when you go to a poorer country, the women over there can't afford to be entitled because most of them are broke. The moment many foreign guys who have money land on their soil, he's automatically a millionaire. So these women will not pass up on a good deal just to prove they are independent when they clearly need the help. And because the country is poor, the government cannot afford to support the women, so they have to find a man to commit to them and help them out. That is why what you see going on in America isn't prevalent in many third world countries. Drill that into your head and understand that the women in those countries aren't embracing womanism because they can't afford to. The men haven't given their women too much freedom and power, and lastly, society hasn't made womanism a choice. That's the truth based on my personal experience. Let's look at one more so we can get more men's perspectives on this issue. Simply put, the Western world has lost its way. The most important aspect of any society is the family unit. If the family unit falls apart and the family values are lost, the very fabric of society is inching to tear apart at the seams. Forget the economy, forget identity politics, forget the right and the left, forget education, equality, racism, and all that other stuff. If the family nucleus is gone, the rest of it all will soon fall to pieces. Canada has a divorce rate of over 60%. I don't blame women for this. I just blame our culture. I have no desire to become an uncle to my kids, the guy who sees them on the weekends. Why should anyone accept being reduced to visiting his own children? Western-style socialism, divorce laws, the welfare state, political correctness, womanism, and misandry have all contributed to destroying the fabric of the family unit here. But Filipinas have an extreme sense of family. They would do anything for their family. And that's exactly what I want. It does come at a cost because my revenue has to help not only us but also her parents and siblings. But I have to respect that and take the good with the bad. Alright gents, here is proof that I don't lie to you guys. In yesterday's video about Asian women and white men was a banger that you guys should go check out. I told you guys that the Asian woman and her family come as a package. Here's proof. Look, I don't know about you guys, but I'm not taking care of a woman and her entire family. F that, she either comes with me alone or she finds another man to do that ish. Not I. And regarding the degradation of the family being the reason for the collapse we're seeing now, I agree because without a robust family system, the next generation will be lost and unable to keep their family together. However, women have a choice, but because of the love of money, they choose to bust up the family and wreck their kids' lives. That's all on women who leave because of irreconcilable differences or because they want to level up. And when men see that their sacrifice is rewarded by their wife destroying their wealth and legacy, then of course, they're not going to want to commit to a woman living in that country. It's common sense at this particular point. Some men go their own way, and others get their passports and search abroad for better options, and I don't blame any of the two. Let's continue. The other reason is financial. I certainly appreciate that women want a man who can provide for them. It's not selfish or shallow, it's just common sense. They should seek out a man who can offer them a roof and food for them and for their children. There is nothing wrong with that. But I am a small-time construction contractor. I don't make all that much money, and at 51, I find myself too old to take on a mortgage and save for my children's education. However, I can offer a premium, very desirable life to a Pinay. I can buy a decent house in the Philippines without having to borrow. In fact, I borrowed only $2,000 from my dad to pay for our home up front. Every steak, every plate of Italian spag is a true luxury in the Philippines, so I prefer to give a steak to my family and be appreciated for it rather than them expecting it as a given. In Canada, I'm a bum. In Phil, I'm an upper middle class man. Why should I willingly choose to remain a bum? Well, gents, there you have it. Men just want to feel appreciated for the hard work that they have to do for their families. Who would have thought? It's gotten so bad that women don't have a shred of appreciation these days. They believe they are entitled to the best, simply because they have a stank betwixt their legs. I can't even remember the last time I gave a woman something and she was genuinely happy and appreciative of what I did. It's disgusting how men are treated today, and I will always tell men to go where you're wanted, not where you're tolerated. Gents, to avoid this BS, just live the free agent lifestyle or go your own way. That's the best advice I can give to you. If you don't commit, she can't control you unless you knock her up or she falsely accuses you. So heed my warnings and be careful out here in these overseas streets. To show your support, subscribe and share the video. Help out a man that needs to hear this message. If you want to donate to the channel, the links to our PayPal and Cash App are in the description box below. And if you have any personal stories about women and life lessons that you want to share, the link to our email is in the description box below. Gents, looking for love overseas is not going to be your salvation, so always be on guard.